Good evening. My name is Shane Klakken, and I want to get you logged in to the Week in Review for the week of the 5th through the 11th of April. Before we get started, though, I want to remind you, go to my website, shaneklakken.com, sign up for the newsletter, even click on the donate button to help me get reelected as House District 37 representative for Petroleum County and Fergus County. You can also see me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, all at Shane Klakken for Montana. I want to let you know that my timber project I have going on out there at the ranch, it's 125 acres and there's a lot of free firewood available. You can go there to get some firewood and you can get it for free. I help you load it up and you can do what you need to do to get it home. You can even block it up and load it all up by hand. But please give me a call, 406-217-6107 if you want some free firewood. I'm going to have a lot. So that was Monday and Tuesday, getting firewood ready for you. Wednesday is what we need to get started on what's going on with being a representative here in the state of Montana. I do want to let you know I continue to teach homeschoolers the U.S. Constitution, but it's only 1 or 2 sessions left as their graduation is coming up on May 2nd, at which I get to speak with them. And also on Wednesday, April 8th, we had a dinner at a local couple's house. They invited us over, and also there was a constituent from Petroleum County came over. We had a really good discussion. A lot of questions the constituent from Winnett had been wanting to ask me for quite some time, and he was able to do that. They had a great meal. We got to tour their greenhouse. That was fun. He built a greenhouse, and it was he's going to be able to have some vegetables in the wintertime. During that talk at their house, all the political talk, we talked about lots about the U.S. Constitution, and which morphed into the Montana Constitution, where we talked about the initiative process enshrined in Montana's Constitution. Well, the initiative process is a way to change or amend Montana's Constitution that I think is pretty weak. The way it works is you need to gather signatures on a petition to get an initiative on the ballot. How you do that is you take the number of people who voted for the last gubernatorial race, and in the case of a statutory initiative, you need to gather 5% of that number, which is about 30,000 signatures. In the case of a constitutional initiative, where you actually change the Constitution, you need 10%. And for a referendum to block a law that the legislature passed, you need 15%. Those are a pretty low bar. Those percentages do have to be spread out over a certain percentage of the counties in the state. And then once these ballots get that many signatures and get on the voter ballot, then they have to pass by 50% plus 1. And that's the process, 50% plus 1. We also talked about judge races. In the last legislative session, there was a lot of talk about the judiciary and judges and judge races. And there was an idea over there to make judges sign up with party affiliation. Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green, whatever the case may be. I'm not for requiring judges to do that. However, I am for allowing them to do that if they want to. That's just plain old freedom of association. As of right now, they're hamstrung. They're not free to associate. And that's as per the Montana Bar Association rules that they can't do that. And we, the legislature, can change that. I think they should be allowed to. And the reason is this. We as legislators get a lot of questions about judges. And when judges are on the ballot, we get questions about who should we vote for. Well, I should know because I'm in the political scene, so I keep up on that kind of stuff. But the average person has a hard time finding the information. It is not easy to find. So the idea of them associating with Republican, Democrat, Independent, or Green, or whatever the case may be, it gives the voter a starting place. Because believe it or not, judges are people, and they have bias. I have bias. If you ask me who to vote for, you're getting my bias. You should be able to know what they stand for and it's hard to find because there's things they cannot say on the campaign trail as they are limited by what they can say through the Montana Bar Association. So if we allow them to associate with a political party, at least you, the voter, have a starting point. The next topic we talked about was data centers. We've had a data center meeting in Lewistown at the Council on Aging where we got a lot of information out and we learned a lot of stuff. You know, there's two technical issues basically that's making people hesitant about AI data centers. That's electricity and water. And those are certainly our issues. We do not want our electricity rate to go up to pay for infrastructure that a data center is required to have a high capacity transmission line built to location. Fergus County and Petroleum County both are safe. We don't have that kind of a great big power line coming here. If a data center comes, they're going to have to bring their own power, which means either build that line on their dime or bring power inside the fence, which could be a natural gas powered plant, or it could be a small scale nuclear, whatever the case may be. Then you have the environmental problems of water. The cooling systems required for these systems are extensive, and you know that's a technical issue that can be solved. Those two technical issues, like I say, can be solved. Here's my issue with AI data centers. I have a basic issue with the AI itself. AI can do a lot of things right now that we need to get a handle on. We need to get policy around. It can do the things that we do not need it to do. As an example, in government, we do not need to have AI systems making decisions. We need a person in the loop. You know, AI is great for gathering information. They're great for presenting information, but they should not be the sole arbiter decision maker. That's just in the government arena. Now, in our personal world, you know, we're used to having things instantly. We have these cell phones that can give us answers right now. Our attention span is short, but we have to do a little bit of cognitive thinking on our own. With AI, it'd be just really easy to don't even do anything and just let it do your thinking for you. And that's not good. We need a human in the loop, even in your own person. Data centers are a big discussion in my two committees I'm part of, Local Government Interim Committee and also the Consumer Council. So these issues are not lost between sessions. They're being talked about, but we do need those public meetings like what happened at the Council on Aging in Lewistown so all the cards can get on the table. I think we need to have a moratorium on building them in the entire state of Montana until we get our hands around the issues and policy that's enforceable, so when they do come, they come on our terms. Another topic we talked about was sales tax. And people, the truth of the matter is sales tax cannot generate enough revenue to replace property tax or income tax. So based on that grounds alone, I'm not for a sales tax. If it could 100% replace property tax or income tax, I would be, because it's a consumption tax. But by the time you get done with all the exemptions so that people with lesser means can still afford to buy food and those kind of things, it just can't generate enough income to replace those. In fact, you don't want all three taxes. You don't want sales, property tax, and income tax, because what governments do when you give them authority to tax, they tax. So let's not have all three taxes. Another issue we talked about is housing. You know, people bandy about this word called affordable housing. I do not believe there's such a thing as affordable housing. We just don't have the wages in the state of Montana that can make a family be able to purchase a house. We have a basic service industry now. We don't have a lot of wealth-producing industry going on. You know, we have some here in Fergus County area. We have Allied Steel. You know, they're a good employer. They got good wages, good jobs. We have Century companies. We have several other companies. But for the most part, the only real wealth-producing industry we have here in central Montana, and it's really good, is agriculture. Wealth-producing industries produce wealth by producing something. In the case of a farmer, they put a seed in the ground and they get 10-fold, 20-fold, however many seeds grow back in a beard of grain. Cattle, when you made a bull and a cow, you get a calf. You're creating something. You're creating wealth. In the service industry, and thank God people want to do the service industry, thank gosh people are in that business, But basically, when you sell a hamburger, once it's gone, it's gone. It doesn't stick around for use as, you know, a place of business or so on. So housing is a tough nut to crack because we need to be able to raise the level of income for workers through wealth-producing industries. You know, we have the treasure state. We are the treasure state. You know, mining for precious metals, or even at this point, copper. You know, we have coal strip. We're scaling back on that. The coal severance tax is what funds that. Coal strip severance tax trust fund. And, you know, if you can't keep putting money into it because you're scaling back, you're losing that ability to use that fund efficiently. So we need timber industries pretty much shot. You know, like I say up there, my thinning project, I have 125 acres of trees. I want to give away the firewood because there's no place to send the logs. There's no market for them. And we're pretty much shut out of a market in the state of Montana. You know, we used to be like 55 or 56 sawmills. Now there's less than 5. That's pretty indicative of what's going on. So Thursday, April 9th, I had to go to the dermatologist in Billings to get squamous cell carcinoma in situ cut off the top of my head. But in the meantime, I missed a meeting in Lewistown that was very important, the emergency services meeting called LEPC. And I don't like missing that kind of stuff, but you got to do what you got to do. We had 3 major events in Lewistown on that same evening. At 5:30 was Eastern District Representative Troy Downing was at Docks. We had Chris Rindle, who was running against Barry Usher for the Senate District 19 race. That was at the Eagles at 5:30. And we had another function, the Link House fundraiser up in the scout camp. And all 3 of those are hard to get to any 2 of them, much less 3. We did have Danielle Barth at our church today to inform us how that fundraiser went. And she's a very good presenter, good speaker. She runs a really good show, Love Inc., and this Link House is an offshoot of that. So Friday, April 10th, I finalized my dad's taxes for him, got them all done. I worked on our taxes. And then I did KXLO Live. Next week is the last time I can do KXLO Live, because on the 19th of April starts political season, where anybody in an elected office cannot go into KXLO Live and speak on that program because there's just a rule against that. We don't want to break any rules. So 1 week left. I'll do KXLO Live one more time. I do want to inform you that the best place to keep caught up is, again, at my website, ShaneKlakken.com. Click on the newsletter to get newsletters on a weekly basis. And also go to Facebook, TikTok, X, Instagram, and YouTube. Go there and look for Shane Klakken for Montana, and they'll come up. Again, ShaneKlakken.com. Click on newsletter. And also, I do have a donate button there, as I am running to be reelected as a House District 37 representative, which covers Petroleum County and most of Fergus County. Yesterday, I was on a chainsaw for 9 hours cutting trees down, limbing and topping, so we can add more firewood to this pile. So again, if you want some free firewood, give me a call, 406-217-6107, and we can coordinate a time where you can come out and pick it up. Thank you, and have a good week.